You know why the left is doing this whole thing where they're using the traumatized children from the school shooting in Florida, and for all I know, CNN is going to hold a town hall. I mean, it's despicable. Let's face it, because their trauma is touching, but it has nothing to do with whether they know anything about what would help curtail shootings. It has nothing to do with anything except to manipulate your emotions to take away your Second Amendment rights. That's the only reason they're doing it. I mean, they're not bringing on children who say, like, no, we defend gun rights. That's not going to happen. It's all about the children, and it's all about show, and the news media is just in on it. That's how corrupt they are. You know why the left always use children? Whatever you do, you say, like, well, people, we have the right to have guns so we can defend ourselves against the encroachment of government, oppression. And they say, but what about the children? You say, well, people, yes, that might be a good government program, but I have the right to keep my money and decide how I should spend it myself. You go, well, what about the children? You say, whatever, we should be able to defend our borders. Oh, but look at the little children who came over and we don't want to send, it's the dreamers. The dreamers all came back. The reason they use children is because we all agree that children are not free agents and they need protection. And what the left wants to do is they want everybody to envision himself as a children, like that Obama video of the life of Julia. Obama's going to take care of you from cradle to grave because you're a child, and the government is the big adult. And we all agree that some of the things that the left wants to do apply to children. Nobody wants to see 7-year-olds go in and buy a gun. Nobody wants that. So they're basically extrapolating all the time to make all of us feel like children. And of course, children touch our emotions because we feel protective toward them. And what they're saying is, don't you want the government to do that? And what they don't understand, it's always about premises. Everything is about premises. Everything is about making people establish their premise. Our premise, conservative premise, Americans' premise, is freedom. We start with freedom. And the thing is, this is the way arguments take place in this country. There's a crisis, there's a tragedy, there's something that will touch your emotions. Remember what the left always says, no good crisis should go to waste. That's what they always say. What they mean is no good crisis should pass without their manipulating it to increase their power over your life, right? And so what we are saying is we want to be free. So they come and say, well, look, there's a terrible crisis and we can fix it. And what we're saying, wait, we want to be free. And when we have CNN praising North Korea, we know it's only a little while before CNN shows up at our house and wants to turn our house into North Korea. We need our guns. These are not people we want to allow to come anywhere near us unless we have guns to protect ourselves and protect our freedoms. I know that some government programs make life better. I know that government programs occasionally will do things that, other people can't do, but do they encroach on your freedom? And do I want to trade my freedom bit by bit for each little thing that they do well? No, I do not. If you made my life, I tried to explain this to somebody at the prayer breakfast. It was really tough. I said, if you made my life perfect, but I had no choice, I couldn't make my own choices about my life, I would prefer to take the dangers, take the risks, take the flaws in order to be free. Why? Because freedom is where the meaning of life comes from. Life has no meaning if you are not making choices. And that's when they get to say we're evil, because they say, oh, here's a thing that would fix this. Here is program A that would give me in Washington all the power, take the power away from you, but it would fix this. We say, no, thank you. We'll keep the freedom. They say, oh, you don't want to fix that. You're so mean. You're so mean. You say, let us take a trip just to watch the way these guys argue and to watch the way they talk. Let us take a trip to Knucklehead Row, the op-ed page of the New York Times.
Oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, let's go waltzing down to Knucklehead Row.
On Knucklehead Row, there is no greater knucklehead than Paul Krugman. I think other knuckleheads are simply aspiring knuckleheads to the knucklehead king, Paul Krugman. Virtually everything he says is untrue. Today, he unleashes on the GOP saying they have no character, Republicans stink, everything about them is awful. The modern GOP is, to an extent never before seen in American history, a party built around bad faith, around pretending that its concerns and goals are very different from what they really are. Flag-waving claims of patriotism, pious invocations of morality, stern warnings about fiscal probity are all cover stories for an underlying agenda mainly concerned with making plutocrats even richer. That's what I want. I want plutocrats because why would I want that? Why would I want that? Why would the people who vote for Donald Trump go out there to make plutocrats richer? That is insane. It Doesn't matter. Let us go on with the knucklehead Paul Krugman. And the character flaws of the party end up being echoed by the character flaws of its most prominent members. Are they bad people who chose their political affiliation because it fits their proclivities, or potentially good people corrupted by the company they keep? Probably some of both. And they love you, the left. This is why we want to give up our guns, because they love us so much we don't have to fear them. In any case, let's be clear. America in 2018 is not a place where we can disagree without being disagreeable, where there are good people and good ideas on both sides. It's not a place where there are good ideas and good people on both sides, or whatever other bipartisan homily you want to recite. We are instead living in a kakistocracy, a nation ruled by the worst, and we need to face up to that unpleasant reality. That's what Paul Krugman thinks about you. But the thing is, this is what he thinks about anybody who disagrees with him. You know, I was looking around for information on my own. I stumbled on a several years old article by a woman named Carol Markowitz from the Daily Beast. Now, the Daily Beast, as I recall, is actually a left-wing thing, right? Yeah. Here, Carol Markowitz. His convention was called one of the worst ever. Chris Matthews deemed him dangerous and scary. Ellen DeGeneres said, if you're a woman, you should be very scared. His opponent ran an ad against him, portraying him as uniquely dangerous for women. I've never felt this way before, but it's a scary time to be a woman, said a woman in the ad. He was frequently called a bully, anti-immigrant, racist, stupid, and unfit to be president. Who was it? Mitt Romney. That's right. Mitt Romney, one of the nicest people who ever ran for president. I didn't agree with a lot of what he said. I don't think he ran a particularly good campaign, but there was no getting around the fact that he was a noble, decent, honorable human being who did things for his neighbors, who did things for anybody he could help. A New Republic article, this is still quoting from the Daily Beast, proclaimed, yes, Romney's vision for America really is that scary. The Huffington Post headline read, the severe danger of a Romney presidency. Rolling Stone explained why President Romney would be a disaster for women. And Nick Kristof in the New York Times pontificated on how Romney would treat women, spoiler alert, not well. Mitt Romney was, of course, far from the first Republican presidential candidate to get this treatment. George W. Bush, John McCain, and any Republican who has the audacity to challenge a Democrat for the presidency are treated to ever more alarmist rhetoric. Every gaffe, every uncorroborated story is blown up by a media seemingly unaware of its extreme bias. This is from the Daily Beast. Lest you imagine all presidential candidates get this kind of media treatment? Well, not quite. Barack Obama wasn't stupid when he said there were 57 states. He wasn't racist when he listened to Pastor Jeremiah Wright's sermons for 20 years. He wasn't insane when he said he would lower the oceans. He wasn't unfit when he said he would end the Iraq War on the very day he took office. He continually got the benefit of the doubt the Republicans never get from the press. And she goes on to quote, who do you think? Paul Krugman, as flinging every insult he has got in his book against Mitt Romney and George W. Bush. And the thing is, they don't understand. What they don't understand is our argument is not that our guys are good. I mean, nobody picks on Republican politicians like Republicans. Our argument is not that Donald Trump is a good person. It never has been. Our argument is that you leftists are so much worse, and your particular bad traits affect our freedoms in ways that Donald Trump's don't. It's a binary system. We got to choose one or the other. We choose the bad guy who will keep our freedoms rather than your bad guys who will go up against them.